Welcome back to more Summoner's War Monster Strategies. Today we're going to be looking at the Dark Salamander known as Decamaron. Decamaron is usually regarded as the best salamander in the game. Now, it's a debate. I'm saying usually, but it's a debate between Decamaron, Crackdawn, and Charmin, although Crackdawn is usually thrown out because he only has good use until mid-game, whereas Charmin and Decamaron can stay forever in the right situation. So it's really between Decamaron and Charmin. Although more people do say Decamaron. Why? Well, Charmin outclasses Decamaron in one specific situation in the game, and that is raids. Decamaron outshines Charmin in more situations in the game, such as many Kairos dungeons and fighting bosses in general, so that's kind of why people would agree that Decamaron is generally better than Charmin. Anyway, let's talk about his stats as a level 46 star, so they are as follows. He has 75 HP, 516 attack, 626 defense, and 99 speed. So his HP is it's around the mid, you know, in terms of the 5 salamanders. He is the middle one exactly. Overall 75 HP though is not good. It's on the lower end, so that's a problem. Attack stat is 516, which is average. Defense is 626, which is actually pretty good. And speed 99. So I mean, as you can see, the salamander that actually has the best stats is Crackdawn, the fire, but again, that's because he is a 3-star, whereas the other 4 salamanders, including light and dark, are all 2 stars. So that's of course one advantage that Crackdawn has over every other salamander. But anyway, let's talk about his skills now. So his first skill is Shadow Shock, attacks the enemy and decreases their attack speed for 2 turns with a 50% chance. Keep in mind that this move can improve to a 100% initial chance by skill ups. Second attack is Dark Storm. Attacks the enemy with a Gale of Darkness and deals continuous damage for 3 turns. This attack will deal more damage according to your defense. And the third one? Corrupt Armor passive. Gains immunity against freeze and stun effects, and your attacks deal additional damage proportionate to the target's max HP. I mean, his passive combined with the second skill is actually a pretty interesting combination because he is generally considered a boss killer or tank killer just because of the DOT usage. First of all, I should make a note. This one, like I just said, can inflict DOT for 3 turns with a 100% initial chance, which means that it will always only be accuracy versus resistance. And it'll also deal more damage according to, you know, defense. This one here, when it says that attacks deal additional damage proportionate to the target's max HP, that means that I did look at it online, and it actually says that all attacks will deal 5% of the enemy's max HP plus a little bit more from your attack stat and the base damage of each attack individually. So it's definitely interesting. First of all, 5% HP is actually the equivalent of 1 DOT, which means that no matter which attack he does, he will always inflict technically a DOT, whether he uses the first one or the second one. On top of that, the first one is an attack break, again 100% initial chance, which is pretty good with skill ups, and the second one, DOT for 3 turns with a 100% initial chance. So this is interesting. He will always deal 1 DOT automatically, no matter what, and then he will be able to deal a second one with this skill, another DOT for 3 additional turns. He is a boss killer, he is. So it's interesting. On top of that, his passive also helps him out a bit more in terms of being immune to freeze and stun. Anytime you're immune to inability effects, that's awesome. So that's why he's a good monster. Let's talk about the rune recommendations. So as far as runes go, I actually saw that this guy could probably benefit a lot from violent usage. So violent, and I would say revenge. The reason you want to do revenge is of course because, you know, his passive will trigger. It doesn't matter if you attack with the first skill, it'll also do 5% of the target's max HP. So violent revenge, and then defense, accuracy. I said defense here because that'll actually buff up his second attack. If you have a lot of defense, that attack is going to do a lot of damage. It's going to be lethal. It'll do a lot of initial damage with a high defense. It'll inflict a DOT most likely, and it'll also do an additional 5% because of the passive. That's pretty lethal. It is a very strong attack. And then accuracy for slot 6, of course, because, you know, both of his skills need accuracy to be able to land pretty much every single time. They both have a 100% initial chance with skill ups, so with high accuracy, you're going to be able to land it almost every time. Almost every single time. And that's really nice. In terms of substats, you probably want to give him the same things as a normal stats, which would be defense, HP, and accuracy. Those 3 things. And that's pretty much it. Maybe you could give him a little bit of speed if you want. That, you know, but speed of course benefits pretty much every single monster in the game, so it's whatever. But yeah, that is pretty much Decamaron. Like I said, Decamaron is usually regarded as a pretty good boss killer because he can always inflict 1 DOT technically because of his passive. He is immune to stun and freeze, which a lot of bosses have that stupid, you know, AoE stun, immune to that. And he can inflict an additional DOT, he can inflict an attack break, which works well on bosses too. Like, it's just really nice, it's really convenient, it is. And because of that, I would recommend, you know, to maybe one day use this guy, you know, rune him properly, and he will shine. He is for sure good. I mean, a lot of people just disregard the salamanders, but when it comes to Charmin and Decamaron, they both have good use. Decamaron is a lot, usually a lot better because he can be used in more places, but Charmin outshines him in raids, so it just depends, you know. They're both good, and like I said, I would recommend keeping him. So that is my overall review. If you have any rune recommendations, go ahead and leave a comment. I'm sure that people would appreciate seeing those comments. Thank you for watching, goodbye everybody, and until next time.